Hey everyone, it's Craig here with your Disney News Roundup for the week of January 23rd, 2021. Before we get started on that news, it wouldn't be a Diz Unplugged video if I didn't mention Dreams Unlimited Travel, the official sponsors of the Diz and Diz Unplugged, and the experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. So if you're thinking about a Walt Disney World vacation here in the future, or Disney Cruise Line when it returns, think about using Dreams Unlimited Travel because when you go through them, you are supporting us directly. So you can get more information today at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Now, let's move on to the news this week, and it's going to be a lot more positive than last week, so I'm very excited for that. And you can't get much more positive than the first news story that we have. In a world filled with cuts and layoffs at Walt Disney World, I am happy to share that Disney is looking to begin the process of bringing back more of their singers, dancers, technicians, and other cast members this summer for the return of the fan favorite show, Festival of the Lion King. In a statement on the Disney Parks blog, Disney did confirm that when it returns, Festival of the Lion King will be presented in a modified format to be mindful of the current environment. There will be adjustments to the show on stage and backstage, including updates to the choreography to allow for appropriate physical distancing. They'll also adjust how the audience is seated in line with other theater-based experiences at Walt Disney World Resort. And I could not be more excited about this news. I know it's shocking for a lot of you out there to find out that Craig Williams is a fan of shows at Walt Disney World, but yes, I am a fan of them, and I don't think there is a better one than Festival of the Lion King, unless it's just completely slipping my mind right now, but I think it is my favorite, and I know there's a lot of people out there who love Finding Nemo the musical, but I am Team Lion King all of the way. I mean, I grew up with the Lion King. The music is iconic. This show is iconic. The performers, they give their entire heart to it. And I know it's going to be a little bit different than what it was before, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to have that same energy and spirit and magic to it. So I am very excited for the return of Festival of the Lion King. And best part of all of it is that more people get to come back to work. And that's great news right now. So let's continue on with the news, though, and see where it goes from here. Oh, another good one. Earlier this week, Epcot celebrated a happy moment when barriers were pushed back in the France expansion. Construction walls turned to plant barriers a couple weeks ago, and this past Monday, the plant barriers were removed to allow guests their first peek at the expansion that will be home to Remy's Ratatouille adventure and Le Crêperie. Large construction walls are still blocking the view of the attraction and most of the area, but the removal of the walls will allow guests to use the new bathrooms in France, which conveniently opened the same day that the bathrooms in Morocco were closed for refurbishment. And I still don't have any hopes for getting on Remy's Ratatouille adventure anytime soon. I'm still thinking it's going to be summertime versus spring, and hopefully the new Crêperie will open up sooner than even Remy's Ratatouille adventure. But just looking at the photos of this new area that opened up, it is clear that it is a beautiful, beautiful area and just seamlessly fits into what was currently at the France Pavilion, which is one of my favorite pavilions in the World Showcase. So it just by seeing it, it looks like this entire expansion is going to be a complete home run, and I just can't wait for the rest of it to open up. And now we're going to take a leap from France to France with our first not so pleasant news story of the day. Earlier this week, Disneyland Paris did announce that they would be postponing their reopening due to the ongoing concerns with COVID-19 and the prevailing conditions in Europe. The full statement release does say, due to the prevailing conditions in Europe, Disneyland Paris will not reopen on the 13th of February as initially planned. If conditions permit, we will reopen Disneyland Paris on the 2nd of April 2021 and will welcome reservations from that date forward. Given the current context of our plans continue to evolve, but please know that we will make every effort to share with you any updates as soon as it is possible. Please check back on the website for regular updates, and we thank you for your continued loyalty and understanding during this difficult period. Again, not really surprising news considering what's going on with the world, but hopefully everyone who has the opportunity to visit that park will be able to do so sooner than later in a safe way. So, that's a bummer. But a wise person did once say that chocolate solves all of the problems in the world. So let's see if it helps right now. The M&M store coming to Disney Springs has revealed that the brand new Mickey and Minnie Mouse M&Ms would be sold exclusively at the upcoming location. Of course, the design on the candy and the packaging has to be themed, and I'm sure they will be the most expensive M&Ms most people will purchase in their life, and we can only hope for that at the very least. Now, who out there has ever dreamed of exploring the mystical city of the Pacific Northwest that most people out there refer to as Seattle? Well, now you have a chance to do so with Disney Cruise Line. DCL has announced a new Disney Wonder 2-night Seattle sailing will happen on July 5th, 2021. That's now available to book. The special itinerary departs Vancouver on Monday, July 5th, has a port day in Seattle on Tuesday, and then returns back to Vancouver on Wednesday. And if you're confused about why this is actually in existence, it's because DCL had to replace a 9-night Alaska sailing with a 7-night sailing, and this is clearly the way to keep the ship from just sitting around collecting dust. And there's a lot of extra details that you should know, and I'm going to point you to dclfan.com for all those details. But let me just say that if you have the chance to visit Seattle at some point, then you should absolutely take it. I don't think one day on a ship is enough for that city, but I would actually recommend if you're going on an Alaskan cruise sometime that goes out of Vancouver. There's a lot that do go out of Seattle, but Disney Cruise Line goes out of Vancouver. So if you're going to go on a sailing out of Vancouver, I would recommend flying into Seattle, spending a couple days there, and then finding some sort of transportation to get up to Vancouver, whether you're going to walk, take a car, or a scenic train ride. Do one of those ways, but that's the way that I would actually tell you to be able to experience Seattle and then also make your way up to the Great White North. I recommend it. And finally, we have to wrap up this news on with a highlight of the week. And you already have heard me talk about this earlier in the week on the Diz Unplugged podcast, but the Muppet Show is officially coming to Disney Plus. The show has been missing on Disney Plus since the launch of the streaming service, and undoubtedly it's because of the nightmare that it is to obtain all the rights of the music and dead celebrities because no one foresaw streaming and home releases 40 years ago, but now that's changing. Seasons 1 through 3 were released on DVD a long time ago with edits, but now seasons 4 and 5 will join the fun when it hits Disney Plus on February 19th. I will never get rid of my DVDs of those first 3 seasons, and I'm still holding out hope for those final 2 seasons to be released since I am a completionist, but I couldn't be more thrilled about this news. If you've only seen the Muppet movies and you aren't really familiar with classic variety shows, it might not be your cup of tea, but it is loaded with Muppet humor all the same, and it's fun watching because you do see the progression of some of the characters as they really start to develop their personalities in a much bigger way, that then once you get to the movies, it's like they're there and they're ready to go. So I love the Muppet Show. I will probably be glued to my TV for an entire weekend when it's finally released on February 19th. I am just so pumped. I've been saying that so much of this news week, so something's wrong with me. I think actually we should just wrap it up. That's it for the news this week. And hopefully I won't be back again doing this next week because I feel really out of practice having not really done this since the Diz Daily Fix years and years ago. But if it is me again next week, just remember, it could be a lot worse than Craig Williams. So before you go, please take a chance, hit the thumbs up on this video if you could do that for me, and make sure once again that you are subscribed to us here on the Diz Unplugged. And if you need links to any of the stories that I discussed today in the news, you can find those all in the description. It's nice, it's easy, you click it, takes you to where you want to go, you read more, or you just get a summary of everything I already said. It all works out, but you can find that all in the description. So we'll be back again next week with more Disney news, but until then, bye-bye.